This is Andy with the Chosen Prime with a quick video review of MP-30 Masterpiece Ratchet. Here you can see him in his Nissan Cherry Vanette mode. Here's his box. His box is identical to the one that came with Masterpiece Ironhide. As far as his accessories, inside the box you do get a set of 2 trays. I'll go through the individual pieces here. This upper tray is the same accessories as what Ironhide came with the sled, 2 handguns, the missile launcher and missile, and then the gun here. And then what's different is that you get a different set of sub-accessories underneath. You get a couple wrenches, you get 2 repair guns, you get a healing beam kind of thing, you get a separate face, and you also get this little sniper rifle. So you get a bunch of different little accessories. In addition, he comes with, of course, his instructions, the collector's card, and then what's unique here for the little piece of paper here that you can use to kind of get a digital readout when he's in his robot mode, and I'll show that off in a bit. But what's unique is he comes with a set of stickers. The reason he's got the stickers is kind of so we have 2 different options of how you want to kind of display the little crosses that are on his arms. Due to how there is kind of a trademark issue with having just a pure cross here, they give you 2 options that you can use. They are die-cut squares, so these crosses here have these little pieces here, so when you attach them to his arms, they are one piece, but you could, if you wanted to, you could use an X-Acto blade to just kind of cut those corners off and then have your standard crosses. So again, you get the 2 that would go into shoulders and robot mode. You get 1 that you can put on the top of the vehicle, and then these little ones here would go here. So it's kind of up to you how you want to have him displayed. So you can mount some of his weapons on his roof, and the way you do that is there's a kind of a slide out port here on the top that you would just kind of grab with your finger, and then you can take things like the standard G1 weapon, install it. You can take one of his handguns that he comes with. Essentially any of the ones that come with the standard kind of square peg, you can kind of mount up there on top. In addition, if you wanted to, his light bar is able to hide, so you press it down and push it forward and it'll lock into place and kind of get flat. That kind of comes in handy when you transform him, because during this part folds over. But it's an interesting little kind of bonus you have there for Ratchet here. Vehicle mode detail. Here you can see that he's got this nice kind of glossy white plastic. Nice job on this red stripe. He's got some chrome, clear blue windows. To homage the G1 toy, he does kind of have this face kind of sculpted there from where the old seat was from the Diaclone version of Ratchet. Painted rims, just overall really nice. Just bits of detail, clear headlights, chrome bumper, and such. Just like Ironhide, he can store both of his twin laser pistols on his underside in vehicle mode. So you just take these guns here, and they fit, and these kind of peg into slots here on the bottom, and they'll kind of snap into place. And you can carry both and still roll while he's in vehicle mode. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on to his transformation. So to begin the transformation, first we come to the back half here, and you lift this part up. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and push and lock in the light bar. Next, you want to come and take the arms here and these sections here, and you kind of want to peg them and have these entire sections kind of come up on both sides. So again, just kind of take it, and there's a hinge here, including the window, you want to kind of lift up. And the nice thing about Ratchet here and Ironhide is that even though it's a bunch of panels, he does fit together snugly in both his modes. So next we can come to the underside here. These wheels, what you want to do is you kind of want to they want to fold in on themselves. So you want to go ahead, and I recommend is kind of slide them out that way first, then kind of fold and break them in. And so that's how you kind of would get those put away. So again, I kind of recommend kind of pull them out a little bit so you can kind of get clearance to kind of rotate them in fully, and then do that. Next we come to these panels here. You want to kind of just grab it, and there's a hinge that'll it'll fold in over on itself and cover that wheel. And you want to do that on both sides. Again, you kind of want to just make sure it fits flush like that. Next, come to these panels here, and you want to slide, kind of flip these down, and it'll flip and kind of flip behind the peg here. So you might have to lift up and kind of just move things out of the way a little bit to kind of get it to sit. But then that's how that part fits. So again, take this hinge, unpeg it from the front, flip it down, kind of get clearance to move it down. Now you can go ahead and take the legs and kind of split them apart. And then there's a very subtle kind of compression part here at the knee, so you want to pull up on both so you get the full leg extension. Go ahead and rotate the lower legs forward on both. Come to the toes here, and you want to go ahead and rotate them and they'll lock into place to make his feet. Come to the back here, and the chrome bumpers on both sides, you want to go ahead and fold them up so you get some decent little heel spurs. And that essentially is the legs. Now we want to come up to the top here, and you want to fold this section here forward, and then there's a hinged part here. This part here hinges, so go ahead and pull it straight out, and you kind of see there's this hinge that kind of bends in multiple ways. And what you want to do is you want to kind of have it be able to compress on itself. But before you do that, you want to take both arms and rotate them up so that they are in this position. And what you want to do is, with this part, is you want to have it come down and angle and cover, kind of collapse back on itself and cover this upper torso, like so. And so that's essentially, now it's being kind of holding those two sides. Come to the arms, and originally the arms are on hinges here. There's a peg and a peg hole, and you want to go ahead and kind of make sure that they lock into place on both sides just by lifting them up. Now you can go ahead and take these little clips here by his head and push them down, and they'll lock and hold his arms in place on both sides. We come down here to the wheels, and their wheels and this panel are on one piece. You want to go ahead and kind of unpeg it from the front of the vehicle and pull them outwards. So here you see there's a peg here. You want to lift it out and pull them outwards so that it pulls to the side. So again, kind of rotate it back in just enough to be able to pull it out. That'll give you clearance to come to the legs here and move the legs forward. Come to the back and the sides, and you want to rotate the sides up and then fold the wheels in. And there's a peg hole in the back of his waist here and a peg on each wheel. So you want to go ahead and now collapse each side in and peg it in. And that's essentially how you get his hip skirts to kind of be there. So again, rotate this hip skirt, bend that joint, push it in, and then peg in the back side. You come to this torso part here, the front of the van. There's a piece here that you want to kind of rotate out for robot mode. You want to kind of have it so it's that way, and then take the entire piece and it'll hinge. You kind of want to unpeg it from the top here and it'll hinge. You can see this hinge back there. You want to have it come all the way up, and there are two pegs and peg holes here that match the chest, and kind of put them into place. And that's the upper body. Come to the arms, rotate them up, then rotate them down. Come to a hand here, and what you want to do is go ahead and slide out and kind of fold out this hand like this. There's a hinge here you want to kind of extend. Push this flap down, rotate the fist out, and then kind of it'll all peg together, and that'll make his left arm. So come to the other arm, and again, go ahead and rotate out the fist part here, flip out the hand, extend on this joint, flip this panel down, and you can see there's a peg, and then kind of collapse the hand, it'll peg all together and fit securely. And there is Masterpiece Ratchet in his robot mode, ready to go. Here's Ratchet in his robot mode. He looks really great in this mode. Again, this white is actually paint here. I was mistaken. This is actually paint, and all of these surfaces here, you can see this glossiness. There's really nice bright white glossy paint that just feels and looks really nice in hand. Looks very finished and polished. As far as posability, he does have his hip skirts here move, and so you can bend his knee. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got an ankle tilt, so you can get him to pose with his heel spurs. A lot of movement in the arms. As far as the hands, they are the standard kind of rotating hands with the one set of fingers that fold out. He's got a bowl jointed head for a lot of kind of emotive poses if you want to. As far as accessories, he can wield most of his weapons in his hands with the standard kind of peg in the slot in the hand. He does have his dual laser pistols that he comes with that are the same as Ironhide's. Comes with the chrome static laser gun that homages the G1 toy. Comes with a little bit larger X-ray gun, or X-ray blaster that you can use. He has a little laser scalpel that you can use to kind of make repairs. The effect part that he comes with does just kind of slide on the front of it and can be used to kind of set up scenes. He does come with several different kind of tools that he can use. So he's got his cyber spanner, which is kind of this nice silver and painted tool that you can kind of hold in his hands. He also comes with a pair of just, ratchets that you can kind of just slide in, close his fingers, and he can hold, a pair of ratchets if he wants to. To use his other tools, you would just go ahead and transform his hand and hide the fist. So go ahead and open this up, rotate the fist in, and that'll expose this peg that you can use. And then that will let you go ahead and install things like here's his little arc wielder, which is just a peg on the matching on both sides of it, and he can hold that onto his hand. And again, the effect part, the effect part will plug onto the front. You can use and have him posing, repairing some Autobots. Similarly, his other repair weapon is this little repair beam emitter, and it's just got a peg that fits on top of his either arm. You just peg it in like this, and again, that effect part, you can kind of have him repairing people in a lot of different ways. Finally, he does come with this missile launcher with a peg, and it can peg onto his back. There's a hole here, and it hinges up, so you can have him kind of wielding that. If you want to, you can take the little piece of paper that he came with and go ahead and open up his chest here. And I actually recommend kind of rotating this in temporarily so you can slide this out further. And essentially you take this piece of paper here and you can kind of make it so he's got the EKG readout. You want to just kind of slide it in here, and there's actually pegs on the paper to kind of have it fit in here. And it's a little tricky at first, but once you kind of get it set, it should hold into place. And then you can have him have a little digital readout as he's repairing different Autobots. So here's a close-up of Ratchet's upper torso, including his head. His head with the white helmet and gray crest homages the G1 cartoon versus the toy or the comic. But he does come with this, by default, this stern face, which does kind of fit Ratchet. But if you want to have him be a bit more cheerful, you can take off and replace this plate that he comes with. So go ahead and grab the crest and kind of pull forward, which will kind of let you take the peg off. And then you take the second face that he comes with and just plug it into place, and you can kind of get a little bit more cheerful Ratchet here that's happy to repair all his friendly Autobots. What's also interesting is that the platform that he comes with, the sled that came it homages the G1 toy, can store all his different accessories and weapons. Here you can see that there's his laser pistols, his wrenches, the effect part, even this missile platform. But what's even funnier is there's a peg here on the back that you can store the whatever head you don't want to use. There's a peg on each head that you can then go ahead and plug in, have it store on the bottom of each of this platform here. It's a nice little bonus they threw in here to be able to hold all these different accessories. I want to quickly show off where the stickers would go here on the arms. Again, you can either use the Autobot cross or just the basic cross here, and it would fit on that panel there. And if you really did want to, if you want to kind of have that G1 accuracy, again, cut out the little squares here and then apply it to each one of these shoulders. Remote comparisons between Masterpiece Ratchet and Masterpiece Ironhide. Here you can see they are the same base mold. There are slight differences, like here, like in the waist here. It's a little bit different between the two. And of course, different heads and accessories. The cherry red, the glossy red that comes on an Ironhide, is really striking in person and is a nice complement to the glossy white that Ratchet has. Both figures are just kind of excellent representations of the Masterpiece line. Since we didn't originally cover Ironhide here, the Chosen Prime, I can show off some of his accessories. He does come with his own red platform with the same base accessories that Ratchet has, but then he also comes with an additional set of tools, a pair of kind of liquid shooting hands, an alternate more stern face versus this anger face I have installed, a scanner, jetpack jest boosters, and a couple different kind of chemical shooters here that can kind of plug onto the end of his hand. And he also does come with a little kind of sensor readout here that you can install in his chest. But these guys look really, really nice in their robot modes. Vehicle mode comparisons. Here you can see that they are the same Nissan Cherry Vanette. Their only real difference between the two of them is how the top of their vehicle is different. How Ratchet's got the little light bar that can slide, and then the way that his weapon can mount on this sliding peg versus on Ratchet is just a little kind of depression. But overall, you can see that both these little vignettes look great and are good homages to the G1 toys. Robot Mode Comparisons here for Masterpiece Ratchet. Here he is next to Masterpiece Prowl and Masterpiece Optimus Prime MP-10. As you can see, he's this nice middle ground scale between the standard Autobot cars and Prime. I think he fits and kind of matches what we expect the kind of the cartoon scale to be. That he's kind of this larger Autobot and just looks nice here alongside other Masterpiece Autobots. I think TakaraTomy done a really good job of kind of fitting Ratchet and Ironhide into your Masterpiece collections. I think they've kind of done a great job here with Ratchet. Vehicle mode comparisons to the other Masterpiece Autobots. Here you can see next to Prowl, Optimus Prime. You can see that the cherry vignette is just slightly larger than the standard car, but then smaller than Optimus. So I think it works quite well at this nice scale. It looks realistic. TakaraTomy's done a really good job of making this van really match what the G1 toy and the animation model look like. So Ratchet looks great, you know, amongst the other Autobots. Some final thoughts here on Masterpiece Ratchet. I would say Masterpiece Ratchet is probably one of my favorite masterpieces of recent. I was very skeptical when they first showed off the prototypes of these figures. But then once I got them in hand, a lot of the nagging issues that I had with them kind of went away, and just thoroughly impressed. The transformation's fun, the Poseability's fun, the accessories, just the paint. They just really, TakaraTomy did a really good job with the spit and polish of these guys. They just are really great masterpiece figures. Both Ratchet and his counterpart Ironhide are both currently available from the Chosen Prime, and they both come recommended, so take care.